out.
All right.
A second. So I think it says we're live, but it doesn't have the ticker yet. So if we are, oh, there we go. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Episode Club. We're talking about Harlots Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4, but also Happy 2020, the first live stream of 2020. Ha ha ha. And we got a full panel today to talk about these crazy ladies and what's going on with this show and everybody. So whoever wants to go first may do so. Unless Kaci, you want to go first since it's your. Oh,
I thought you
and
just
of course,
screwed that up. You
right.
flipped up.
Oh, there she is.
that's okay.
There we go. Sorry.
Kaci, do you want to go first? Introduce yourself and talk about your channel and all that.
What just happened?
Well, my name is Kaci. My channel is House Lorebridge. Pretty new here still, but excited to be here on your Episode Club. This has been a really fun show to watch. And we're doing episodes 3 and 4, right?
Yes, we're excited to
Yeah,
start.
of season 3.
No,
Ready?
season
2.
2. We haven't skipped the entire season yet.
Don't confuse me like that, Johnny. It's not nice.
Johnny's been binge watching. He can't stop himself from the Harlots.
No,
Look, you don't know me. I do what I want. Whatever.
he wants to know what happens to Mr. Armitage.
I
So
want to see
bad.
if I can find Lemmy Winks. That's really what I'm looking for.
But yeah, so go check out Kaci's channel. It's in the description, and she's also in the live chat. So go check out her channel. She has 3 awesome videos on right now, and I bet there's going to be more to come. So go check out and support her channel. Get her some more subscribers because she deserves it, as well as Erin. What you got going on today? And Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year, everyone. I had a really uneventful New Year, let's be honest. I did 6 loads of laundry, which I mean, I think for anyone is like an accomplishment. So Happy New Year's. At least I started out on that.
Fresh laundry. That's always a good
Gotta
part.
have it.
And go check out Braavosi broadcast. Be sure to do that, and also check out Erin's videos because I know more are coming, and we'll talk about that.
You can watch videos of me doing laundry and folding laundry.
They're the best goddamn videos I've ever seen in my life.
Are you for hire?
What,
I'm
to
a
give
pretty good
compliments?
laundry
Oh, you're
folder.
talking to Erin.
For hire. Oh my god.
Well, I'll introduce myself. My name's Johnny B. Crazy, and I'm from House of the Conqueror, and I just take over conversations with my... Look, Sasake, these were the chesticles that were promised, and you are very welcome. I actually like putting on these titties for a night. It's very, very nice. Very nice. You can say that my chest hair goes all the way down there. Yeah, we're going to have fun. Harlots, love it. This is I got surgery in the morning, y'all. So this is my last shindig. And can y'all get my mind off the fact that they're cutting me open tomorrow? Yeah, that's all I want. Love you guys.
We can talk titties and you know, easy women. Get your mind off of things, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That should help.
Thank you. I appreciate
Harlot
y'all so much.
Mrs. Wells' boobs. That's what we'll talk about.
You know, I do
they were
feel
looking
a
at
little.
Erin Jackson. This episode.
I do feel a little bit like I don't know, like I'm being taken advantage of. I don't know if I'm being ganged up on. I don't know what's going on here, but I do feel eyes upon my Armitage boobs. So, Danny McKay, what's up?
Well, you know, Armitage.
Good thing I got my rape whistle.
Oh no. Yeah, those are funny too. Hey, Danny McKay, thank you for joining us and Happy 2020. So we have these 2 episodes, and we basically end the last episode with Quigley being free and going back to Golden Square. So we start off. I put these kind of in by character this week. So in terms of my notes. So we have Quigley and Charlotte, as well as the rest of the girls, go to Golden Square, and we get introduced to a new character, Mrs. May, I believe her name is. And And we basically learned the side story about what Lydia was like as a younger girl and how pretty much she became to be, as well as someone who's even older than Lydia Quigley, and how her rise to, I guess, fame or infamy came about. And as well, we get a bit of backstory of how Mrs. May herself knows Charlotte in a sense, almost. So, what did you kind of think about Charlotte's overall arc, at least for the beginning parts of this episode?
It was kind of, she was a little. It was interesting because Miss May is like a weird, creepy old lady. Just like she's got the wig and the powdered face, but she's like 75 years old or something, so she's just super creepy.
And still horny as shit, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
just throwing that out there.
Freaky.
Yep. She is freaky. Yeah, so they all move over to her house to like work out of her house because the justice has like Mr. Armitage and his boys over there watching Lydia's house. And so, yeah, they're staying over there, and she's like, what does she say when they get there? She's like, I don't allow fellatio or bestiality, but otherwise you're...
Orgies.
Yeah. So
flagellation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. What did I say?
Oh,
fellatio.
That's allowed. That is allowed.
That's definitely allowed.
I'm like, geez, of all the things. No. But
and then Charlotte goes, what are you supposed to do? Play drafts with them then? And all the other girls are like, hee hee. It's like
totally. So yeah, it's weird. It's a weird situation.
I mean, I'm just surprised no one drowned in the pool. And Charlotte's playing a really, really dangerous game here, and her mother knows it. Like, she doesn't realize how deep she's in. She thinks that Quigley doesn't know anything and is no the wiser. But as we see in later, and maybe even the next episode, I think Quigley has set her up for a little trap there. And we got the new little girl who I find very intriguing. That's in Emily Lacey's brood. I can't remember her name though.
Cherry Dorrington.
Cherry.
Yeah. I love Cherry. She's awesome.
Such a hoot.
She's so cute.
She's feisty.
Yeah.
What do y'all think is gonna happen to Charlotte? I mean, I know Erin knows. I don't know if Kaci has like binge watched the whole thing too. So maybe I'm just an idiot by asking this. So y'all already know.
Mommy, I am pretending I am a giant.
I honestly don't remember a lot of what happens to Charlotte at the end of this season. I remember next season a little more better, but
what's the brother and sister? What's their name?
Oh yeah.
Because that's the meat of this.
It's William.
Hardcore and Isabella.
Yeah.
It's William. Yeah.
Liv Tyler's character?
Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
That's Isabella, right?
Yeah. Did you have something further to add to that,
Isabella
Johnny?
and her brother. That'll make it easier for me because I'm reading Lord of the Rings, The Silmarillion, Fire and Blood, Sword of Destiny, and another book all at the same time. So forgive me if I misremember a couple of names. And I'm watching a bunch of TV shows too. Thanks, y'all. I'm having a good time though. They're vying for affection. There's a real unhealthy brother-sister relationship here. I would almost think there was some sexual abuse early on, at least from brother to sister here, maybe in the past. He has seemingly dominated her, and this is what I think is this is a wrench into all of Charlotte's plan, because she wants to get to Isabella, right? Isabella is a tool for her to use, someone powerful enough for her to help bring down Quigley. But her brother is definitely complicating things, and Isabella is super jealous. They have this competition going on, and Margaret Wells kind of can't turn down 100 gillies. It's kind of hard to turn down an exorbitant amount of money when that's how you make money. especially when she's promising Isabella that she won't be with her brother. This just gets very intriguing to me. Go ahead, Casey. I see you. I see your brain wheels turning.
Oh no. No, I was trying to think. Was it, what do you mean 100 guineas? When Charlotte was sleeping with the brother?
Yeah,
that's what
Isabella had asked her
Quigley,
not to
yeah.
be with him or whatever, but
Yeah.
she didn't really have a choice.
Well,
She
no,
would've
because she's
given
still
up
one
the
of Quigley's
ruse.
girls, so she doesn't really have freedom to
Well, she could have
make those
said
kind of
no.
promises.
She could have said no, but what
Could she?
reason would she give? She could, but it would be very suspicious. Quigley would always
Yeah, she
wonder
doesn't have a
why
good
she said
reason.
no. Mm-hmm.
No. Well, because she's trying to work with Isabella against Quigley, and she's kind of walking a line there.
Sasuke says that the brother is totally 100% creep vibe. It's
Hey,
like,
but he's got all his real hair, and that means that son of a bitch doesn't have syphilis. She better get with him. Like, I don't even care. This world's
He
so
does
full
have
of
a pretty good
syphilis,
mane of hair.
He
right?
does. Very
Like,
lion.
hygiene is big here. Like, he may be a creeper and not the best looking dude, but he is clean. That is a big deal in my book. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm penetrated, I want to be penetrated by a clean person.
Is that Mr. Armitage's thing?
Mr. Armstead
Cleanliness?
tries to get titty fucked. Oh my god, I done messed up.
Mr. Armitage, I don't know. Yeah. Geez. But yeah, they got the whole Charlotte has to basically sleep with Isabella's brother, but kind of also around that same time she goes and talks to Nancy, or before then she goes and talks to Nancy after she's gone home, but that's another kind of section of how she wants to take down Quigley, and she's like, I could murder her in her sleep, but it's like, no, you don't want to do that. Like, you have to make it a strategic process of taking her down. You can't just take her out in the middle of the night, because then you would burn for that. Like, you'd be hanged and killed for that. So it's like, baby steps.
Little, just
it would be a lot simpler though.
About 10 drops of shade of the evening.
I know.
Deep in dreamless slumber.
Or a big glass.
That's not in this world.
Or a big glass of milk of the poppy.
Is Kaci really surprised, or does she freeze?
I think she might be frozen.
Oh.
But yeah, big glass of milk of the poppy will do you. Yeah, they got the plan, and because this all leads to the garden party, which is the end of episode 3, where there's the big confrontation and all of that, which with Margaret, Mrs. May, and Lydia Quigley, and she just punches her in the face, and it's like, Mom, you're not allowed to do that. Like Charlotte says, like, you're not allowed to do that, Mom. And they just like take her down, and that's like right before.
Well,
that punch had to feel so good for Margaret, though.
The big overarching theme of this episode was choosing the girls, choosing the men that they want to end up sleeping with. Like Emily, she does that, as well as Charlotte. She does that once in this episode with the random soldier.
And apparently, Margaret licks him like a lollipop, I guess, and it just goes too far with insults.
Yeah. But yeah, they're very funny. Yeah, because Mrs. May remembers Margaret from when she was a younger girl, and she was in her prime, I guess you could say, with that. And it's just funny how they have like an older character show up. Huh?
I got a question, and for the ladies that have already seen this, tell me what you thought at this point in time. But is the old lady, I can't remember her name, old creep,
Mrs. May,
is she right about Margaret? About how selfish she is? About the only thing she really thinks about is her business? Is she right? Go.
Well, are any of them any different? I mean, that's part of being a
Oh,
boss.
that's not
right?
my question. That is
Oh.
not my question. That is the
You know,
easy way out, Erin.
I think Mrs. May might be right, but also there's no other way for Margaret to be. I mean, if she wants to keep food for herself and her son, keep her girls alive and everything, I mean, she has to be on that grind. So, yeah, she's all about the business, but any other way for her to survive. So I don't think that Mrs. May meant it to be.
Yeah, like if she wasn't that way, then she'd be, like not serving, but working for someone else, working for someone like Lydia, who's doing the exact same thing. So like, why is it wrong for Maggie to do it, but it's okay for the other women? I don't know.
Man.
Yeah.
I think there's a good argument that in season 1, Margaret definitely lost sight of parenting and was more focused on moving on up in the world. Just maybe in that one moment. That's what I would say. I would say she's right in the aspect, especially from what Charlotte has seen recently. I think that's going to gnaw in her craw possibly. And
Yeah.
and Margaret admittedly would tell you that she hasn't did right. I think she's already admitted it. So everything up until then, it just got murky when Lucy's virginity was sold off, That's when everything just got murky and old feelings from Charlotte were brought back up, and then, Mrs. Quigley and my favorite, Scanwell, my favorite syphilis patient, Mrs. Scanwell, just stirred the pot, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Y'all saved me from myself.
Well, Sasuke kind of brings up the comment that I probably thought makes the most sense about it. She says, well, you can argue that, Sasuke says that you can argue that Margaret was aggressive about her business to support herself and Charlotte when she was a baby. And then that Margaret didn't have time to cuddle Charlotte because she had to earn that sweet cash.
Well, what if she was locked in a room and had Charlotte taken away from her while she was forced to keep working?
Yeah.
Is that possible? I mean, they can't tell us down there at the bottom of our screen. These ladies cannot tell us, spoiler free, but that's something that I thought about.
I mean, if Margaret had Charlotte when she was still around Mrs. May and Quigley, that'd be a pretty hostile environment. I wouldn't want to try and live with Mrs. May. She's creepy. Yeah. I feel like she'd want to like slit your throat in your sleep if you did something she didn't like or something. I don't know.
Well, she's a grandma or a grandma age person who like tries to mess with your son when he's like, I don't know, 25 or 30 years old. Charles, when his son shows up. It's like,
poor Charles.
Cake or whatever.
But she does have that, like, even though she's, you look at old people and assume that they're going to be kind of harmless or like feeble. She has that moment with Charlotte where she's like looking at her and she's like, if you hurt Lydia, then I'll hurt you. And it's like, yikes, like, yeah, what kind of damage could this, you wouldn't think that like an old lady would be ballsy enough to say something like that, because you don't see that a lot. I think any of us could say we haven't seen old ladies that threatening, short of maybe Olenna Tyrell, but even so, she makes Olenna Tyrell look like the queen of, like,
talking about another
one of Johnny's queen of pansies.
Olenna Tyrell on the brain. This is nature versus nurture too. I think this is how Miss Quigley was taught. This is what she's learned from. It's also what she was escaping from. Her story more and more is mirroring Margaret Wells' story, which I think is supposed to be poetic and supposed to happen. That this struggle for more money, and trying to be wealthy and successful, it can corrupt, especially in the business that we see here. And if you want to get ahead in this world, you have to do a bunch of unsavory things. Do you have the nuts to do that? Well, I'd say Mrs. Wells does have the nuts. Mrs. Quigley has had nuts for years. And the other woman has castrated many a man, I swear. She's had to have. I know she's castrated at least one person personally. She's had. I mean, that sick fuck.
Very well true. John St. Baptiste is in the chat and he says, I'm far too behind. I need to catch up. Yes, John, you should watch this show and you need to talk about it because the show is quite funny and I feel like you'd enjoy it because it's just way too good to not talk about it. But yeah, I think with Mrs. Quigley and like this whole storyline with Charlotte, that it's gonna be, at least for the rest of this season, one of the big plot threads that we're gonna be dealing with, because we deal with it a bit in the next episode, but it's gonna carry through. And Mrs. May seems like she's the type of character that's gonna stick around for a while too. Like she's not one of those one-off type characters that only shows up for like 2 or 3 episodes. Like she'll be around for a while still, until she ends up dying, because somehow she's gonna end up dead at one point or another.
Everybody dies. Erin, I see you down there. I know you want to say something. Saw you unmuted for the longest time, and then
now she's muted again.
She's a Skippy.
Is concerned.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, episodes. So they go. Is it the 3 that they go also gardens? Is that episode, or is that?
Yeah, it ends with like the pleasure gardens, and like, what's her name? Charlotte having to go with her Isabella's brother, for 100 guineas.
Yeah.
I think it was, and stuff like, and then like Lucy leaving and all of that stuff. But yeah, I think it was interesting to see the pleasure gardens, and it was like to take it in literally both connotations as well. Like, and you see that.
That's where all the gangs.
Well, sure, basically, it's Miss Wells, with her girl, I'm here. Like she made an invitation. She really wants. But the whole thing was kind of fun. Like Mrs. Wells bringing her new girls, and they were crazy, and she's there, but she's there, but not basically whatever's kind of telling, watching Charlotte seemed like she's up to something. Old enough that she knows Charlotte's up to something. So it's on her. But yeah, it was like and having fire.
I gotta nip it. You gotta go to Avatar, Erin. You're being robo, and now you froze in like this really cute position. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
yeah.
So try okay. Avatar. Your internet's being stupid. It's not your fault though. We did hear you, I think, for the most part, right?
Well, there's a delay, I guess. Oh no. Oh no, what's going on?
Kaci, save us from ourselves.
No, she's saying that her internet's going spotty. So
my internet's kind of being buggy too.
So now it's just me.
Fantastic. Thank you, StreamYard.
Okay.
StreamYard. Try StreamYard today.
I know, right? This is a stupid website. I have to try and fix. I'll have to fix a new thing. It's always buggy with at least one person. I hate this website.
Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe a me thing.
No, it's usually either one person can't hear one person, or it's just one of those stupid things.
Oh, okay. All right. So where were we? Because I couldn't hear anything for a few minutes there.
We were at the meeting of the gangs at the orgy.
The pleasure
out
garden.
there. We're still at the pleasure garden.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah. Just go ahead. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Oh, that because Mrs. Wells has brought in a few new girls, which is basically because Mrs. Wells wants to go and recruit some new ones because she's lost Harriet to Emily Lacey, and Fanny is just by herself because Kitty has died. She died in one of the last 2 episodes. I can't exactly remember which one. So she needs new recruits. And she takes them to the pleasure gardens, but it's also funny because when she's recruiting all of these people, it's spliced with a conversation that Violet is having with Justice Hunt, and talks about like what the board usually does in terms of making sure that the girls are up to a certain standard, and it's actually quite funny. But then these girls, being very more innocent, they like just run off after seeing like the new things. And it's funny how Mrs. Wells only has her one reliable source, and that's Fanny to do what she needs to do. But I don't know, trusting Mrs. Scanwell as your babysitter may be the smartest idea, because when Margaret Wells comes home, Mrs. Scanwell is just holding baby Mercy. Or no, Kitty. It was Mercy, now it's Kitty. So, I don't know. Johnny, would you trust Mrs. Scanwell as your babysitter?
Yes. I guess I wouldn't trust her to take her out somewhere, take my baby anywhere. But if she's just gonna sit there in one room and not leave that room, I'd leave the baby with Miss Scanwell. She's already had experience with babies, and don't be racist against blind people. Okay, I don't even know. That's probably very wrong, but I would trust her. She's very sweet. Now my problem is, will she give the baby syphilis on accident? Who knows?
Oh my
poor
God.
baby Kitty.
I think she'd be a decent babysitter. She's already had one kid that's made it alive, and it's a baby, it's swaddled and everything, so it's not like it's a toddler that's wandering around and going to fall down a flight of stairs or something. So
that one kid's alive, so.
Well, with syphilis, you never know about the rest of them.
Her daughter is like a pretty good kid, so all in all, Scanwell as like the brothel babysitter, for real.
Yeah, keep them in one room.
Well, they really do need a babysitter if they're going to have kids running around. And we already know that Mrs. Scanwell isn't going to participate in making money anyway, so.
She'll go homeless first.
Well,
Yeah, she's not going to pull out any hidden talents.
Okay, the main issue is she cannot see the baby. Yeah, how's she know when she's done changing a diaper?
Oh, you can find a baby by smell or sound, I would say.
So, is that why there was a little bit of shit on
if you've ever tried to change a diaper in the middle of the night, I think it's doable.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I can still see at nighttime though. Enough.
That's true.
I don't know. Whatever. They didn't have wet wipes back then. I wonder what they used, like a piece of corn to like.
Oh God, I think about these things all the time.
Some burlap. It was probably burlap.
Burlap. Oh no. But Sasuke also says that Mrs. Scanwell was holding the baby in an awkward way. Not really. It was holding it like in.
You mean holding the baby by their feet with one hand? That's not right. What are you talking about?
No, like how she was sitting by the fire and she had like the baby in her hand, but she had like the baby like on her arm. It's like, it's not that bad. It's like it probably just was fussing, so it just needed to sit this way.
I mean, the baby only fell twice, so come on.
Poor little
Oh
kid.
my
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Mothers everywhere. They're so angry at me. Deal with it.
All of them. Oh man. Yeah, like but this kind of ties in with Margaret. Also she goes but she's visited first by Justice Hunt to see if this is a brothel or whatever you want to call it, but they've got their acting chops really well by saying that Fanny is just a woman who had to run away from her husband. The Scanwells are just people who needed help, and then Nancy is just someone who's just been injured and needed room and board. So it's like it's the dramatics of it all, while he's just like good day or whatever.
That house hasn't been that clean since Mary Cooper's dead body was in the middle of the living room.
Oh my gosh. No, that was a really funny scene. Like, it was because you kind of don't know what you're gonna see. Like, as she's going out, like there's just a random knock on the door. You don't know what they might walk into in one of those rooms. So you're kind of like, oh my god, it's a little bit suspenseful. But yeah, it's a funny scene. And then after he sees Nancy, you can see he's just like, oh god, like he feels like an ass. And then after the fact, Nancy's like, didn't even bring me flowers, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, Nancy. She's funny. And then they even have like a whole thing of afterwards Kitty brings the button from the jacket that's supposedly from the man who killed Kitty.
Yeah.
And like, I'll try and find it or try and find the person. Which is quite funny. Not funny, but he's just like, I'll just try. And that's not gonna like be a very big investigation. Like that's not on his high priority list. Like having to investigate the murder of a woman who is not in high society, kind of. But at least he's trying. He's learning. We find out later that he's like kind of learning more about the culture that surrounds this lifestyle, if you want to say, through Violet. It's kind of sweet.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting that he asked how a girl ends up working in a body house. Like, he actually gives a damn. I mean, maybe not a whole lot, but a little bit.
You know what that means, right? He's dead by the end of the season. Because he's an actual good dude.
Well, we said that a bad guy ended up dying in the last season, so
yeah.
But yeah, someone's bound to die. It's this show. Yeah, because that's his whole kind of plot thread, at least for part of this episode. Justice Hunt is trying to find about what's going on and who's he going to deal with, and he's becoming more of a main character, not necessarily like the side character that he was in the last 2 episodes. Let me see. And then he also meets with Mr. Oswald about the absence of this whole Violet dropping the soup on him and all of these other things. And this is where it gets to the conversation about how these women become these women. And basically Violet's just like, yeah, like it's people looking for money. They don't have homes. And it's like once you go through basically initiation, you're on your back from morning till night and paying the people that basically own you. And he's like, why didn't you ask me for that? And he's like, I want to be free. It's like, thank you. You actually want to be free. That's a good thing. And also at the same time, it's also a situation where you're like, well, if he was your keeper, then this would be a really different conversation when it comes to Amelia and Violet's relationship that's kind of blossoming in this episode, and especially in episode 4. But yeah,
It's kind of when she's
go ahead.
Weird thing when she says that she wants. Well, she was working at Nancy's house, so like, these women that the body has out there on the street themselves and show much of that on this show, other than like the women that aren't in body houses are usually the ones that are on cheap side, and they're like, they're kind of low class, they're not clean looking, they're just kind of gross and dirty whores, and so there's like the upside to it, but the downside too, because like there's like the risk of violence, of men being violent to not in one of those places. So it's just kind of an interesting pilot as to why she wouldn't put herself, it's really a safer position, even though you're like sacrificing, I guess, of your freedom because you're having to pay for all of these things, but you also have like a sense of, you have a roof over your head, and so I don't know, it's a situation that these girls are in. But Violet's not exactly a high kind of girl, unfortunately. So
No, yeah, exactly. Like she wants the luxuries of being free, but also at the same time wants like other things in life. Which like because Amelia shows up to Justice Hunt's house and wants to teach her readings to Violet, and we all know that that's not going to be what's actually going down. And yeah, you see the development of that relationship, but then you, I think near the end of the episode, you see that it's cut at the knees when Mrs. Scanwell goes to visit Justice Hunt about what's been going on and getting the 411 on what's going on with Quigley and so on and so forth. But she says to Violet, it's like, I don't like your relationship with my daughter. Don't follow me home. Like all of this thing. And it's like because Mrs. Scanwell is such a religious woman, she obviously doesn't or can't conceptualize the idea of the fact that her daughter might not like men in that way, especially. And it's kind of nice that the show has more representation. It's beginning to show more representation because this is the decades that the show is in now, so it's quite cool. But yeah, you can see that Mrs. Scanwell also has things up her sleeve coming, and you're just like, what's this crazy lady gonna do? Go ahead.
It's interesting that she's even position not very good. She's not in, she's destitute, they're staying at Mrs. Wells' house for free, and she's even there apologizing to Justice Hunt for like seeing them in that position or like staying in that house. So but she's still like proud enough to tell that girl not to help her, which is kind of weird. I don't know. Did I freeze? Did you guys freeze?
No.
No.
Okay.
You're all good to go. I
Okay,
would say
sorry.
this. Sasaki, she can't find her way home alone in the dark. She also, if you didn't even know, she had the baby. She had it tied to her foot so she wouldn't lose it, and it was dragging behind her
My God.
when she was on her way home.
Oh, Jesus, Johnny.
Horrible.
Well,
also, I mean, I was watching that and I was thinking that if Mrs. Scanwell suspected that her daughter, Amelia is her name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That if Amelia and Violet had even if it's just a friendship, even though Mrs. Scanwell knows it's not quite just friendship there. I mean, she still wants her daughter to potentially be able to get married one day or have a good reputation. And if she has a friendship or more of a relationship with Violet, that could be detrimental to Amelia at this point in history. So
That's very
I
true.
can't really fault her for the way she thinks it. I just still hate it because I really like Violet. I think she's kind of a badass.
Violet's all right.
Violet was a pirate. She used to be a pirate of the Caribbean.
Really?
I like her a lot more than Emily Lacey.
Oh, I
No,
like
but it'd
Emily
be cool if
Lacey.
she was.
Or wait till Johnny starts really talking about Harriet this episode.
Oh God.
Harriet just pisses me off all the
Well,
time.
guys,
Look, if you're
buckle
gonna
up.
be a whore, at least be a good whore. Don't just like. You gotta at least act like you're enjoying it. Ain't that what you're getting paid for?
Oh my
I'm not
gosh,
getting paid for that.
she was super lame this episode. It's like, yeah, or what? That was her answer? I don't get paid for that. No, actually, you do get paid for that. I mean, you get
You
paid
can
to
go
at
fuck
least
a dead
look.
body.
Yeah, like you do get paid to at least look like you're enjoying it a little bit. You
Right?
know?
It's part of the act that they're paying
Yeah.
for. They're paying for the experience, not just to be able to, poke something.
And that's like Harriet's whole thing too. She's very like theatrical and stuff with her, being like the queen of whatever, her little antics that she does. So even earlier in that episode, she's like with that old man, she's like, "Oh, you were wonderful."
Well, yeah, but she got salty once Nell came in the house because she felt like kind of threatened by her or something.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But
although Emily did have a really good point, like with how many blondes are running around, but Emily still was able to carve out her own little niche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got carved
Harriet's
out
just dramatic and salty, I think.
Salty.
She was, look, she was kind of the realm's delight, right? She's Rhaenyra Targaryen. Everybody loved her.
Well, it seems like
she
throughout
was
the show,
exotic.
she's just been kind of pouty.
Yeah. Like you've gotten everything you wanted. You're free. You're
Well,
not an
she has her-
indentured servant anymore. You have your kids and you're
Yeah.
where you want to be. You're making the money you want to make. You even told
Yeah, I mean, she told Emily the way it was going to be with what cut Emily gets as the bot, and Emily just took it. So, I mean, Harriet just likes to get her way, and I think she just gets really pouty when she doesn't quite get her way. I mean, we all do, so it's fine.
You think she'd have a little more reserve and fortitude than that, given all she's been through, but
right? Like she's got 2 children. Like shut up and be a boss and don't pout. Just like you don't see Margaret Wells pouting, do you? Mm-hmm.
Maybe Harriet needs to go have a sit down with Nancy and have Nancy tell her how it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nancy's a woman to take advice from.
Dude, Nancy's got good advice. She's full of it. She's a good woman.
she'll beat
I loved
the
her
shit out
advice
of you
to
with a
Lucy.
fag.
Yeah.
She really will.
Oh yeah, Nancy is
A
Krampus.
bundle of
We discussed
sticks.
this before.
Look up the definition.
You guys. No, I liked when I liked her talk with Charlotte that she had one of these episodes where Charlotte just brings her this. First of all, can we talk about that hunk of beef she brings to Nancy, just like wrapped in a towel?
What?
It's like, first of all, food poisoning, because she just like wipes her hands off on her dress and goes and lays down in the bed with her. But anyways, we don't need to talk about that.
Don't you know 1 out of every 2 people in that time died every day from food poisoning? They didn't know. They don't give a shit.
I know.
Honey Badger don't give a fuck.
Plus also like
that's not surprising.
Like, you don't have a refrigerator. Where are you storing that big old hunk of beef? Like, yeah, you better start cooking, woman. But
like especially one that's laid up in a bed. Like, come on, let's go start cooking. It's like, what?
Put it in the pot for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
Back then they had like this fart cook technology. It's fantastic. Use your own gas as an oven.
Johnny.
Scary germs and uncooked beef. Yeah, they do. Uncooked beef.
Take it
just
down
make
to flea bottom and put it in a bowl of brown.
Yeah. The bowl of brown.
I like how Nancy has to ask, is that beef? Like, what do you expect it to be?
Exactly. You're like, what?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we get there's just so many.
No cows are that big.
Well, she says it's like half a cow.
It really was.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what cows even look like, I don't think.
Yeah. But yeah, we get it's Emily Lacey, and she's just wants to be basically like Mrs. Quigley and Margaret Wells in like one day. She wants to be ultra powerful in just one day, and she wants Charles to be the one to recruit all of these women for her and get paid and all of this stuff. So we see that Charles ends up meeting Cherry, which is quite funny because Cherry was starting to work for Margaret Wells earlier on because she was be like, I'll pay you X number amount of money to bring girls to my house. But now she's working for Charles and Emily Lacey, and we see that Emily Lacey first wanted to be the bod by herself, and then to not have to work. And then she goes and meets, I guess, an old friend, Mr. Holland, and becomes part of the team, I guess you could say. And Charles ain't happy about that. He's like, I thought you were going to be my wife or whatever. And then just like, nah,
What,
oh well.
did she get like a piece of cheese for banging him or something?
Five-
Yeah.
Oh my God.
5
Once
shillings.
again,
and a
food
piece of
poisoning,
cheese.
people.
From his
Cheese
pocket.
right out of the pocket. Yeah, that's some dirty old pocket.
The
cheese.
pocket that had the dirty money in it.
Yeah. The cheese is just wrapped in a
Some of that
cloth.
coin purse cheese from under the coin
my
purse.
God.
Oh my
full of
God.
Dust and
Yeah,
old
6
lint.
shillings and a piece of cheese was what
Yeah.
Stacey got.
Yeah, and
Emily
she's
and
like,
Charles are kind of fun to watch just because they're a train wreck.
oh yeah, totally. They're hilarious.
Honestly, all this was just a revenge bang against her boy to get him in line, make him be on his toes.
Yeah, but it didn't work out very well for her. He just turned around and did it to her too.
Well, also because of what he is. He's a supreme mama's boy, and any type of betrayal
Oh my
he
God,
sees like that, that's gonna make him run back to mom really quick if she don't fucking shape her ass up.
I think she wants him to be like a Mr. North type dude around the house, and he's
Yeah.
just like laying around napping all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
call him Mr. Yeah, I don't know, Mr. Cracker is what we can call
Mr.
him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Charles the Cracker.
Soda cracker floating in the wind, man. That dude, I tell you what, he's had a good life. And he's been kicked in the nuts a bunch of times, and he's still a douchebag. But he'll get there. He'll get there. I have faith that either one day
You
he'll
have faith
die
in
or
Charlie
he'll end
boy?
up being cool. I think, Charlie, whatever.
Yeah. Sasuke says that six shillings and a piece of cheese is a new band name. Like, yep. Yeah, like, yeah, Emily is just like, and then she gets kind of insulted because she wants to have more money be paid to her by Harriet than she obviously gets from her own money, and it's just like, girl, calm down. But yeah, then she obviously insults Cherry and how the fact that she's short and all of this stuff, and Cherry's just like not having it. She's be like, I'm all that in a box of crackers or whatever like that. And she,
Emily, she's threatened by anybody that could possibly dethrone her as what's her nickname, the Duchess of Quim.
Yeah.
But she wants to be the bod, which means that you don't spend all the time on your back. So she has to kind of pick one. Like, do you want to have your reputation as being good on your back, or do you want to be the bod? You can't do both.
nope.
Yeah.
She just wants to make
And
money, and that she needs what's his face to go out. And she's like, it's just like she said, well, go find me some girls to boss around then. I mean, that's what she needs. It's like she's either got to boss these girls around and make money off of them, or make money herself. But Emily Lacey, she's business. She doesn't mess around.
And see, the
She just
thing
needs to
about-
pick she needs to pick a direction and just stay with it. She's like all over the place. She's just scattered.
Yeah. Well, she's
Johnny, what did
trying. I think she thinks
Yeah,
she would get that with Charlie, but he's such a damn idiot that it's like not working out to her effect. And then they kind of lose their funding basically from his mom. So,
Oh my God, he's missing more than a couple marbles upstairs.
yeah, he's just such a pampered dumb boy.
Johnny, what did you want to say, sir?
Nothing. No, Harriet had the bargaining power like we talked about, and the dynamics have changed, but Emily Lacey still has kept her on and did not renegotiate, only assigned her, what was it, accountant responsibilities, which I think is damn fair enough. At some point, maybe she'll help figure out how to bring some money in to save that place and have them a cunning house of ill repute because they're becoming a house of oddities and exotics. It seems like here they're going to be a specialties house, and this could be a huge deal. This could be the greatest thing since toilets. So
I think Harriet
They
should
don't
take
have
over more of
toilets
the
at this
business
point.
running for that place.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. Well,
there you go.
Harriet. I don't know. She's
I mean, she's
If she
smart,
had-
and she
she-
obviously isn't enjoying being a whore, so.
yeah, if she needs to get herself in a position where she could do that. It's hard, right now she doesn't have a place where she can be the boss. And Emily's only in that position because they have Lydia's, it's like her extra house or something, right?
Yeah.
And then Sasuke sums up Charles's character in one sentence. He found one girl and he said, "I did it. I worked for a whole 10 minutes today."
I just noticed it says
God.
indubitably under Sasake's picture from Balls. Well, it wasn't Balls of Fury. That's the ping pong.
7 days of 7 days
7
of
days
hell.
of hell. But indubitably Sasuke. Indubitably.
And then she also says that Charlie was probably dropped if we were taking care of Mrs. Scanwell, the baby, and dropped on his head too many times.
Charlie was accidentally dropped from the second floor window, and luckily for him, his head broke his fall.
Yeah.
It's
I can't see
interesting.
Mrs. Quigley being a very attentive mother, so he probably did fall on his head or eat some lead paint or something. I don't know.
What's kind
Yeah,
of
her
funny
makeup.
to think about is like,
Right?
what were their childhoods like? Because there's all these references to how Charlotte, like how Mrs. Quigley knew Charlotte growing up and they were like so close and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I feel like Charlotte and Charlie are kind of close in age. And so I wonder if there's any, like, if you think about it, like what kind of weird childhood they had growing up together, or like if they have any weird little stories. Or it's kind of interesting they don't really elaborate on that. Like they could
No.
have made a bit of a story with that, because I would think they knew each other growing up. At least have a few encounters with each other, or like more sort of inside jokes between them that are like about their moms, that would have been a funny thing they could have.
I know they
Played
played
on.
something called Find the Tallywhacker, but that's some kind of British slang.
my God.
He's like, my mama taught me this.
Oh my God.
Have you found the Tallywhacker yet?
Oh no. The part-
Mrs. May taught me this.
oh no.
Yeah, don't leave your kids with
Oh.
Mrs. May.
Mrs.
No,
May
she's
found the
not a good
Tallywhacker.
babysitter. You should trust the blind woman before that one.
Just Mrs.
Miss May,
Scanwell.
she found the Tallywhacker very fast. Very
Yeah.
fast. She wins. She wins. She wins. Always.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do with that? There's where there's where his funding comes from right there. That's my prediction. There's Charlie's funding for his cunning house. He's gonna have to bang that old lady. That super old lady.
He's
And
basically
she's
adopted
really mean.
grandmother. Oh no.
She's not normal.
Oh.
She's a really mean, evil old lady.
Oh, geez.
She's really mean.
She's a creepy,
She is
creepy
mean.
lady.
Yeah, yes, we'll talk about Lucy now. So basically, Lucy's storyline throughout this episode is she talks to Nancy about Persephone and the story of Persephone, and how basically Lord Fallon wants to personify himself as Hades, and they go for a carriage ride.
Hades.
Yeah, they go for a carriage ride and do business dealings in more than one way. Where Lucy says that she wants
Didn't know
$500.
that carriage was a stick shift.
She wants $500 a year for her being kept payments. I don't know what you would want to call it, but
Salary, maybe?
£5. Yeah.
and a year, that's a lot of money. But it's like 5. And it's to teach how to drive the horse, and then eventually when she comes back, she has a conversation with Amelia about what they want in life, and Amelia's like, I don't know, but Lucy's like, I want money. And then we basically see Margaret come home, see her off, and she's off to Lord Fallon's at the end of this episode. That's like the last scene we get is she arrives at Fallon's Manor, or whatever you want to call it. But the biggest takeaway that I had, minus the fact that Lucy's really came into her own this episode in terms of knowing what she wants and how she's going to get it, but that Margaret Wells just breaks down at the fact that Lucy's like, all right, I'm gone. And she's just like, she basically would have punched a wall if she could have.
Yeah.
About this, and it makes me go, why?
There's something about Lord Fallon that's off to her. I don't like the way he stares at you. It's like he does stare at her like he's a fucking predator. And you know what? Bold prediction. The foreshadowing is strong and heavy with this one. I feel like I've already told someone this before, but Lucy is Persephone. She's gonna be trapped in hell. Don't treat me like a wife. Treat me like a whore. She done fucked up. She done fucked up. I'm scared for Lucy, y'all. Oh no. My nips is hard.
Are we good?
You okay?
Sorry,
What?
I dropped again.
Oh, man, you missed a lovely rant. And some hard nips, but you can watch later.
Okay, I'll rewatch it.
Yeah, Lord Fallon is a bit creepy, but he's interesting at the same time to be like psychopathic, but also oddly empathetic to one person at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he likes Lucy more than he lets on at first.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, like, he tries to make it out like he's just kind of keeping her as like a secret hostage, but I think he likes her a little more than that, and he realizes that later.
Yeah, I agree. He's I mean, she's kept him, she's played him really well. Like, she's taunted and, you know, she got him to agree to that higher amount and that kind of thing. Like, she's got him in a pretty good position to boss him around, but they're a similar beast. And that's one thing that Margaret says when she goes over there is she's like, you know, that her and Charlotte are different creatures. And you kind of take that as at that moment when she says it, you take it in this connotation of that Lucy's innocent, that she's not capable of defending herself or handling herself, that innocent child. But really, her and Lord Fallon have this dynamic where he recognizes that she's also a predator, because Lucy is not afraid to take care of herself. She's not afraid to stab a man regardless of the result, you know, or push that guy when they went to the parlor or whatever. She pushed the one guy that was trying to mess with her. Like, she's when I mean, I don't know if Mrs. Wells recognizes that in her daughter, but when she says they're different creatures, I think your mind is supposed to think, oh, well, Lucy's this innocent, you know, she's Persephone, she's this innocent child. But really, Lucy's a different creature from Charlotte, because Lucy will fucking kill a man, and, you know,
well,
Charlotte just puts up with his
misleading. Persephone is the queen of hell now. Don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's I like what y'all are saying here.
Yeah, I think Margaret wants to think that Lucy's still innocent, but I think Lucy took Nancy's advice more to heart and just is decided, okay, if I have to be in this situation, I am going to take control of it and play it my way, and it's going to go the way I want it to.
That's what Nancy told her.
And Charlotte's a little bit more like Margaret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then Margaret mentioned that Charlotte was like her, more, she said she called her headstrong or something like that. And but they're also both more emotional and they're very reactive. They don't calculate what they're doing really well. They try to, but they're both too volatile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why Mr. North is sleeping at the pub.
Well, Mr. North. We'll get back to him, but we might as well, because since we're on like the Lucy train, talk about how she's really kind of grown up in the next episode. Because basically she, because she's the woman to Lord Fallon, she gets basically a bunch of servants, and is to be treated like essentially his wife, effectively, is how he kind of put it to his staff. But you also you see like this weird side, because we all know, as the audience know, that he's murdered some people, but obviously she doesn't really know that. And then, like Sasuke says, they have fencing. They go fencing in, I guess, one of his many rooms in his house. But because it takes her a while to give herself up to him, in a sense, and I can see how people would like them as a couple, like if you were watching this, but then you'd also find it completely like scary at the same time. Like you wouldn't want that, obviously, for yourself to have this type of relationship in your life.
I think you're right.
Knows.
Yeah, they're toxic, but you can't help but like the dynamic in a really weird, twisted way.
Yeah, I've seen like like people say like that their relationship is one of those weird relationships where you're just like, you're so immersed into the how this works, because you know in a sense that they're both playing each other, but you don't know exactly when the one person's going to take the next step and try and outdo the other. I feel like
you don't know, you can't tell who's going to win either.
Yeah. But you feel like, like who typically, like what you think may happen with this. And it's quite interesting to watch them do this, and how this relationship ultimately plays out, because we all know that he wants her for one reason and she wants him for another, but who knows if that means longevity in the long run, because he did say that he is her first keeper. So does that mean she'll have another one? Who knows? Johnny, what do you think?
There you go. Extremely sexy, maybe the sexiest moment I've seen of this entire show. And you know what? Super sexy without any sex, really. The sex at the end, that was part of it. But that fencing. Yeah, I'm agreeing with Sasuke here and House Lorebridge reluctantly. I don't like you guys, so it's hard for me to agree with you on anything. But if I'm being honest, I guess, yeah, don't be so sad. Don't be so sad. Just hit me with that fag. And I don't even know what I'm saying. Oh yeah, okay. It was pretty beautiful. It showed to him. I thought he kind of realized how dangerous Lucy actually is, in a sense, that he's not going back to what Erin said. She's a predator too, and she knows what she wants. And I think this may be, you know what? Could Lucy become super evil?
No, I don't think so.
I don't need your I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say shut up. That was very rude.
Yes,
of all the things I've said, shut up's been the worst thing tonight. Franco, that's right. Yell at me. You little bastard.
Franco.
Well, but I mean, she's Persephone. I mean, she's half good and half dark. So I mean,
half with the living,
can't really go all the way,
and half with the dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's why he likes her, because when he started pursuing her, she still seemed very innocent. But then when he got her, and they did the whole fencing thing, and she starts to take control and teasing him more, I think he realized, like, damn, she's kind of dangerous, and I didn't realize that was going to be such a turn on.
Oh yeah, he's turned on. Erin, you got anything to say here? I hear you like just I don't know,
I'm just
some
giggling in
weird
the
sounds.
background. No, I liked the fencing scene too. It was very sexy and yeah, I think that he does realize that she's dangerous and she's not afraid. She's not a woman that's going to be cowed. Like Nancy said, don't be cowed. She's not letting herself be pushed around by this guy, even though he's more powerful. And then you see that even more in the next episode when old what's his face comes around and she comes in, she's like, I'm going out. And that was interesting because she was just planning on going out, but then the guys were like, no, I guess we're going out, So I don't know. That'll be an interesting dynamic between them because he's not really wanting to let her be unsupervised. But that's, I think, also when she pushes that friend of theirs across the room, basically.
Yeah, because he's cause he wants to have a taste of Lucy, but she's like, F no, and she pushes him over. And he's like, don't you ever touch her, or whatever kind of thing. Like, she's mine, don't touch her kind of thing. Like, she's some rare gem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he wants to see how, what's his face kind of arranges that Harcourt. He tells the kid, he's like, hey, try and mess with her because I want to see what kind of reaction we get out of Fallon. And so he was just kind of testing the waters to kind of see their relationship or how serious it was or kind of the dynamics of it. And he saw.
Right. Can I say something? The guy that sent him over there, that's like the leader of the Spartans, I'm assuming. He seemed like it. The big wig on campus. Or at least higher up than Fallon. And Fallon seems to him to be a threat. Why else would you want to get rid of Fallon unless Fallon has these aspirations, which he is a smart young serial killer on the rise. And I think the dude with the button is going to be a fall guy. And Sasuke, said that Lucy will kill someone else before the end of the season. She might kill Button Guy. Or Margaret might dip into a serial killer form, and have her another victim on her plate. I think that Fallon will use this because I believe somehow he will get word of what the hell is going on because he still is using Lucy for leverage, but I think he'll get the inside scoop and not leverage because Lucy holds some enmity for her mother. She's pretty. I don't know how she's feeling about her mom right now. It seems like she's somewhat jaded.
I think she feels smothered by Margaret at this point. Margaret pushed her into the whole selling the virginity thing when she wasn't really ready to, and then tried to push her into accepting someone to keep her. And I think Lucy's just tired of her mom hovering constantly.
Yeah, well,
because Margaret's pretty overbearing to
Lucy. I guess
Lucy.
you could call her a helicopter mom.
In a really weird way.
Because she only kind of started, I don't know. That's odd. We want to get into that. She's too good of a mother.
Yeah. I mean, if you want. The only, I think, thing about Mr. North is that Mr. North is finding his way outside of
Don't
the
talk
house,
about Fight Club.
the Wells household, with basically betting on people who fight, which is actually quite funny. How he's just like, my bet's on this person, but Mr. North doesn't keep all the money for himself. He ends up giving it to the person who he bet on, which is nice. And it's such a Mr.
Charlie
North
had need
right?
of a soldier, Sasa. And that soldier ended up winning a bar fight. Oh, it's funny how things are connected. The butterfly effect. If Charlotte wouldn't have banged him, he wouldn't have won the bar fight. Mr. North wouldn't have started the fighting ring. Look at this. It's just a beautiful, the circle of life. Some shit like that. And I think it's just fantastic here. Mr. North's going to come up, going to have a little fun. He knows he's going back to the love of his life and the mother of his child. But right now, he's just got to let off years of steam that's been building up because he's been taking care of and smothering the business for that business for years, and he has to bear her burdens as well. It's not that he doesn't want to, because that's what a good partner does, but it's been a little overbearing of late, so can't really blame him for wanting a little R&R. Yeah.
Do we know if Mr. North has previous experience with this bare knuckle fighting deal that he's getting going?
He knew what he was doing, Casey.
Right, he seemed pretty comfortable with it. I thought so I just figured I'd see what you guys thought.
Well, he's
I
a
couldn't
pretty
remember
good
if we
fighter
heard for
too.
sure.
I bet he fought in one of those before. I bet he was an actual fighter. I could see Mr. North is doing that.
I could see that.
That'd be pretty cool. Erin, you there?
I'm
You look
here.
a little pale, but that may be just your avatar.
I think that I don't know if they say anything about it. I feel like there might have been a reference, but earlier or later, I think in the first episode or two, into it with that kid. Anyways, they kind of get into a little bit of a brawl. So I think Mr. North, he's a doorman. He's a tough guy. He knows how to handle himself, in a tussle. We've seen him fight, so I think that just kind of comes with the territory with his job. Also, is like the ability.
Oh yeah.
To handle people. So I think he's a little bit too old, but I bet you that fighting in his backstory somehow.
In his younger days.
What's his face say? The kid even says, well, I was a black boy that came up in a white man's house, so I've been fighting since I was born. And I'm sure
Webster.
Mr. North had kind of a similar thing, because even though Mr. North was born a free man, like you're born a free man in a country where there are slaves, so
it's still indentured servitude too, though. It's like a workaround.
Yeah, like
it's still a weird deal.
Yeah.
And the rights are iffy. I don't think they're definitely not treated equal. All people are not created equal. They weren't in the beginning of America either, but it was a little more to the effect when you get to the America. More people were created equal as far as class system goes. Here you can see the real separation and how hard Quigley has to get into just getting into these hoity-toity type parties, getting into the water gardens. Like, it's not easy. You got to know some people, pull some strings, have some favors, bang the right dudes, I guess. I don't know. It's just what it seems like. And, yeah.
Like Mr. Armitage for Fanny.
Yeah, poor Fanny. Hey, yeah, y'all want to talk about the new girls that Miss Wells has got?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, we can
just throwing it there.
If you want.
They look like a peach.
Name, but they look kind of too innocent almost to do like this work. Almost, it seems like it's weird. Like,
well, they do in this episode, but we'll get to know them a little bit better, and they're just kind of like, you even get to know them a little bit better by the end of the. Like, they're already fighting at the dining table and stuff. Like, these girls are not classy.
You did find out Margaret Wells is she's a licensed cunny inspector, apparently. Gotta give her props.
Like, we got
what
room
she
for
say,
you,
no
but
unwanted
not
pets.
your friends.
Yeah,
something like that.
And she doesn't like smokers and all of this stuff. Like, it's funny.
I'm guessing that
trying to keep things classy.
Only weed smokers.
Yeah. Only a certain type of smoker. Yeah,
gotta be the
and
pipe weed.
kind of
Yeah.
it's just funny how it's the girls, but hopefully not one of them dies too soon, because as it points out that like Margaret Wells kind of has too many murders on her hands for some people, which fair enough. And in like kind of like the fourth episode, it's that big push that Margaret has along with Nancy and Charlotte, as well as Emily Lacey, to take down Lydia Quigley. And we all know that it's gonna maybe happen, but it's gonna take a lot longer than just one episode to take her down. And it's kind of funny to watch this kind of play out, because you all know that this may not work. Lydia Quigley may just keep walking free until God knows how long. Because that's what happens with sometimes the bad people. Is the bad people just keep on living, and the good people just...
They almost had her too. They almost had her, and honestly, fate played into Lydia's hands in that situation, because she just so happened to meet old Dottie, Justice Dodds, the Chief Justice.
Oh
so
my
yeah,
God.
they were. Oh, Dottie! I fucking love it. But yeah, that was entirely luck, because they had her. They had the warrant. They had everything. And if she did not that night that lounge or meet the very night, and he came back hooking up, but if that wouldn't have happened, then they would have had her. So it was just like, it was pure luck. It wasn't even Lydia like playing her cards correctly. She just happened to get lucky in more than one sense.
Oh.
Right,
I'll tell you
God.
what.
Oh my God.
He's not
I
going
wonder
to
how
need
long
a
it's
hip
been.
replacement anytime soon. Apparently, he's got a really strong hip. He has no rhythm, though, which I guess for a rich white guy wouldn't, not a big surprise.
Yeah, and like
only poor white guys can do the job.
Sasuke said too that
That's
he
right.
also
Like
likes the riper
like
of
a poor
Irish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was, she probably herself was shocked at the fact, like that actress, probably the fact that she was probably like, oh God dang it, like
Did say
first
that.
with the jailer, and then she's like, now I have to with the Chief Justice and all of the other things. Like she's just like, what else? Probably when she was reading these scriptures, she's like, what else can I possibly do? That was just a funny thing. And then how Justice Hunt was like trying to avoid his gaze. He was just like, "You were under arrest for." But
Poor
also,
Justice Hunt was scarred from that, I think.
I love Lydia too. When he says that, he's like, I have a warrant for your arrest. And Lydia's like, oh, like this dramatic, like, how dare you? Like, bitch, you just got out of jail. Like, come on. It was so funny. She really played it out for Justice Dodds. And then he was just like, oh, let me save my damsel kind of thing. But oh my God, that scene is like one of my favorites of the entire show.
it's just so funny because then he just like keeps like he's like going after too. So it's like, oh my God.
He's like, get out.
Yeah, it didn't stop him at all. He might have liked it a little bit.
People watching here, like, oh yeah, that was just funny because like of all of these over these past 2 seasons, you haven't seen like really Lydia Quigley be like in that type of position, literally and figuratively, where she's being like arrested while like having to do something like that. So yeah, it's just justice because he's just like he's stammering over his words, but he also has a stutter, so that was probably just like the worst thing.
I don't think he knew what he was getting into when he took the job.
No, poor guy. I think after that was when he's like, how do these girls even get involved in this? Like, what the fuck?
Poor man needed a drink after that.
Poor Justice. He's got a
Go
rough
to
job.
But hey, OTDA, don't worry about it. But if you were to watch the show, it's quite funny and quite interesting.
Hey, OTDA, long time no see, buddy.
Yeah, like, oh my god, like I feel like Lydia has pretty much one of my favorite storylines this in episode 4, just for the fact of she gets chosen over a bunch of her own girls, and then it's just
that had to be
I
an
love how
ego
the
boost
girls-
for her.
Yeah, all the girls are like laughing, and then the best is Lydia. She does this giggle, you know. She's like, "Oh," like this super like girly giggle about the whole thing. It's priceless. The whole scene, the whole thing is just hilarious. And then all the other girls are just laughing at her because they're like, you know, they never see her in that position. She's always like the top bitch, you know, bossing them around and that kind of thing. But they love those moments where they get to laugh at her. It's great.
Exactly, because they're like all listening at the door, and then obviously when Justin Hunt shows up, they're just like walk away, like act like nothing happened.
I saw nothing. She's in there.
And then kind of like the last kind of part of this is like Charlotte and how Charlotte kind of deals with the fact that she slept with Lady Isabella's brother, and like kind of the fallout for that, because her one condition was that she not get involved with her brother, but then it's explained that she had to do it because it was her job and all of this stuff, and you can still feel like there's probably some slight animosity to that, but you know, this is this show, and they're gonna eventually get over it. But then there's the reveal that why there's all of this tension or like background drama is because that Lady Isabella had a child, and Lydia Quigley knows about it, but she's also involved in having that child disappear, basically, or being hidden from the world, which brings a whole bunch of drama and intrigue into this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quigley isn't somebody that you want to know your secrets.
No. Yeah, it's
I wonder if she learned that from Mrs. May.
Yeah, and then she's been exploiting Isabella for so many years about this because, well, her daughter's not just a little child. I mean, you guys will learn this later, but yeah, she's been using this information, and then you realize that there is just as much as Charlotte does. They basically take the time to be on, you know, it's when she's apologizing, like, yeah, I had to sleep with your brother, but I have to do these things because I have an end game goal and it's a bigger picture thing. So I had to do what I had to do, kind of thing. It's nothing personal.
So is their baby her brother's and her baby? Is that why the baby's gone?
You're just gonna have to keep watching.
Erin's
Yes.
the keeper of the spoilers. The keeper of the spoilers. But yeah, he seems sketchy though. It's just like,
somebody just had a birthday too. Somebody named Dark Mother. Some person.
Oh, happy birthday, Dark Mother.
Belated
Happy
birthday on air.
Yay!
happiest birthday because you know. Do we want? If you want to.
Y'all
But-
go ahead.
We'll sing to her at the end.
I'll let
Okay.
Mr.
Dan,
Armitage
if you stay.
hairy ass chest sing for her.
Okay, let's sing
Yeah.
to her. Come on. I've
Yeah,
had this happen for me before. It's a good
I think
thing.
we're pretty much covered the rest of the episode, so we're good. Move on.
So we just
Before-
go off key. Happy birthday. Happy
Yeah.
birthday
Birthday
to
to you.
Do you?
Happy to you. Happy birthday, dear GM. Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday
Birthday to you. She said, Yes. Happy birthday to Dark Mother. And
Probably like quit it.
it's probably like, stop
He's
it.
like, you guys sound
Probably had to mute
awful. Don't do
That's
that again.
Awful. But, you know,
You're
it kind
awesome,
I
dear.
didn't know.
no. Oh, no. Oh, man.
Mhm.
But yeah, we kind of find out that Miss that Lady Isabella's brothers has probably a dark past. That's probably why she's like, nope, don't do that. Like, don't get
Long hair,
involved.
don't care. That's his motto.
Yeah.
Well, doesn't he end up hurting Charlotte after the party when he takes her upstairs? She
Mhm.
walks away all disheveled and kind of like gimping, like
Her
this wasn't a good time.
grabs. He grabs.
What'd you say?
We have Robo Erin again.
Lemon girl?
Quiet.
Oh, there you are. You're back.
Can you hear
There you are.
Yeah,
We
you're
can
just
hear you.
Robo.
me?
We can hear your beautiful voice again.
Sorry. I was weird. Yeah, he's really rough with her. He like grabs her really and then he says, I need a drink. Like, well, she's like, you don't want to go where I'm going. She's like, where are you going? She's like, home.
Oh yeah, I don't think Isabella would really like that pub very much.
No.
She'd feel a little out of place.
Who are these
Bare
people?
knuckle
With her pretty
fights
dresses.
and
Yeah.
right.
She's a pretty cool chick, though. I don't know. We as we get to know her, she's a pretty cool chick.
You
I
know,
like her.
No, yeah, she might do okay, but off the cuff.
Yeah.
At very least, her brother might get mad at her for going out.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that situation there. I definitely do feel like it's a Jamie Cersei situation, but the dude is Cersei for sure.
Just gonna have to wait and see, Johnny.
Hmm.
You watch out in your Armitage, Mr. Armitage bod you got going on there. With your,
Hey, Mr. Armitage.
yeah.
Hey, well, did you? I'm not gonna read my own question.
What?
Dark Mother killing me. here.
Dark Mother is saying, who besides Chronic Clown Dark Mother wishes that shit JBC good luck tomorrow?
Shit,
I do.
For sure, definitely.
Yes.
Somebody raised a hand in the chat.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, it should be good. I'll let all y'all know. You know, when I come out on the other
When you're
side,
feeling better, no rush.
and, you know, give you
Yes, Rush.
a Terminator 2 YouTube video.
Terminator.
You know, stuff like that. When
You're
I
getting
come out, I should be.
unterminated.
Well, I'm getting pec implants and calf implants, so
When you
it
come
should
out,
look
you
really cool when I
should
come
just be
out.
a sack of flesh with no bones.
And then, yeah, just like Peter Griffin used to be.
Exactly.
Peter. Oh my god.
Thank y'all for the well wishes. Y'all are awesome friends.
I
Appreciate you, Sean Connery. Trebek.
Trebek.
Your mother last night, Trebek. She was fantastic.
Lick tits now.
Welcome, not scared.
Let it know.
Let it now, Trebek. Okay.
Your
But,
mother,
you know,
Trebek.
yeah. Anal bum cover. Okay.
Sasuke's asking you for getting butt implants, Johnny.
Oh, I got a big ass, so I actually do not need butt implants. I don't know if y'all need to know that, but I have an athlete's ass. It's always like I got made fun of, like in junior high, for having a big ass, And then it turned into a good thing as high school went on. You know, it is weird when girls follow you and look at your butt, though. I know how women feel. It's a weird feeling.
Is it weirder when guys follow and look at your butt?
It's got to be just as weird. I don't know. I mean, it's about the same. It's just some random person you don't know staring at your ass. It's like you don't know.
Come
if
on,
that-
you like it.
Well, I mean, everybody likes, a little bit of attention, but I try to wear sleep pants as much as possible to downplay the ass,
The most unflattering pants as possible, right?
Just own it.
All right, I will. Y'all see me work it at Arts and Fire Con.
Okay,
And
sounds
at
good.
Con of Thrones.
Ice and fire. Ice of fire? No, ice and fire. God. Yeah, I think we got kind of like the broad strokes of like the 4th episode. Is there anything else you wanted to like mention about it? Because I think it was good 2 episodes. Like they do kind of bookend themselves quite well.
I hope Mrs. Scanwell remembers that baby's tied to her ankle at some point. And that's really about it. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Good to
Don't
see
worry about it. Everybody's getting something done tomorrow.
Hey, Amanda.
So
Oh, yeah.
we love you too, Amanda.
Good luck. Good luck to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but the best.
Yes. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll rank on something we normally do. We've just gotten to where we're just chilling and whatever, sitting here chilling.
I know this is really chill. We're all very like subdued today.
No, just relax.
Teeing up, literally, metaphorically, physically, and there's all new different faces, shapes, sizes, and forms. It's gonna be very interesting. You got 3 cunny houses basically about to start competing against each other. One's the up and comer. The other one, is the super established one in Miss Quigley. And then you have Margaret Wells, the pro athlete that is on the cusp of making the all-star game. If you like my sports metaphors. That does seem a little masculine for the stream though, but who gives a shit?
It goes well with your Armitage tits.
There you go. That's right. Don't make me flex them. As I said before, Armitage loves a good booby. Booby bang. Hey, I just made a new term. Booby bang. Sauce about spit all their drink. I will give both these episodes 9 tornado titties. Don't even ask what that is.
You okay over there? Okay.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to give their ranking?
I'll go last if you want, because it's mine too. Erin, what do you rank these 2 episodes?
I will say, they're pretty good episodes. Especially like I like the whole scene at the pleasure gardens and stuff, and then the stuff with Lucy and Fallon, that's getting real spicy. So there are a couple of good episodes. I'll give them like an 8. Hold on. 8 bod bashings because she got punched in the face. Remember that? We didn't talk about that, but she punched her in the face.
You stole mine.
Sorry. Maybe you got a better like words for it because mine are kind of weak sauce.
No, now you gotta come up with a different one.
Oh.
I think a 9 out of 10 assault and batteries. I just go north. Or 9 babies on a string.
Oh my god. I think that's a Christmas song.
Trying to buy you time, Casey, if you can't tell.
No, I'm just trying to think. I mean, I liked the amount of backstory that we got for some of our characters in it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Sasuke. 9 out of 10 riper fruits. That's pretty good.
Yeah, she also said venting fucks or filthy
Casey,
or
are you
dirty,
there?
dirty cloth diapers.
Wait.
I think I would have to give these two 8.5 Fallon pomegranate seeds.
Ooh.
That's gross. That's so gross, Casey. How dare you say some crazy shit like that?
Hey, they had the whole
Fallon-
Hades Persephone thing going on. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Fallon has the semen golem. We know that.
Oh.
Except it's pomegranate.
Yeah, don't forget steam.
Yeah. Fallon invented hair gel. Hey, Butter's creamy goo. Now
Oh
on
my god.
Fun.
Oh, that's calm.
But yeah. If you,
Oh,
if
that's
you,
bad.
How do you know, Randy Marsh? How the fuck do you know?
well, if you, yeah, I don't know. But if
I said the guy's dick once. In college. What?
I don't know what's going on. Oh man.
People take that out of context and
You're
that
young for that.
forever plague me
Not
the
even.
rest of my life. It said I
Sasha
sucked a
when
dick
that
in college.
episode came out.
Well, if it was before 97, then yeah.
It might have been. It might have been.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's a funny thing. Yeah, like the. Oh,
So you should do episode.
South Park.
Oh my god.
It'd take forever. We did.
Steady content.
Yeah, it would literally like take. That's like the like episode club, like way after dark episodes where it's just like we talk about it like. Oh my god.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, things to
Yeah.
think about.
When we have run out of TV shows. That's all.
Saddam in hell. Come on, baby. You know I love you.
Oh my
Come on, guy. Come on, guy. You know I love you. Erin said, "I'll get."
Damn it.
It's just Erin reacting to it. It says Sasuke says that South Park premiered when she was 15, so in 1997/98 it is. The Dark Mother says, took you long enough to make Dark Mother howl. We're trying, Dark Mother. Yeah, but if
I'm
you
a little
can't,
off tonight.
Better late than never.
exactly. But if you don't remember what hashtag Semen Golem was, that was from when we covered Carnival Row a few months ago now. So if you've watched Carnival Row,
Dark Asher, aka Semen Golem. Also, the catfish that gobbled up all the babies, potential babies, in the River Thames. I don't know what the river's called, but I'll call it the River Thames because that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, we got all that. But for me, I think that these two episodes were really good. You see a lot of Lucy's development in them. So I give these episodes, 9 fencing with the Fallons. Haha, because if she's like the adopted Lady Fallon.
Oh, there we go. Very
Give Lady
nice.
Fallon.
You conveniently froze in like this
Oh.
pose after you said that, like you were really proud of yourself.
I'll have to go remember that.
StreamYard's been a bitch tonight. I tell
I
you
don't
that
know what's
much.
going
It
on.
really
Oh,
is
man.
being a bitch.
Doesn't
Is
want to
StreamYard
so
usually
bad.
this bad?
sometimes.
No, it's
It always
extra
has
bad
some weird
tonight.
issue, but tonight
It's usually one
Oh.
issue that's good, but yeah, I have to fix it. I'll have to pick a new theme. Dark Mother says, stream South Park and my weird offspring would elbow Dark Mother aside. Oh my god.
South Park's the best.
Yeah. South Park. Yeah, there's some good gems within like the jokes of South Park. But
I don't know if you guys have been watching this season, but the Christmas special and the Halloween special and all the specials. I'm sorry, Integrity Farms. It's good.
I gotta catch up. Bad.
Yeah. Well, you'll have
FOMO.
You'll have the opportunity to catch up a little bit.
Well, thank you for giving me permission, Sasha. I really do appreciate that.
Oh,
No, just
making me feel bad. No, I'm joking.
I'll shut up
now. But so
maybe my tits are getting out of here.
But before you do, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I would say tell everybody where to find you. But you can still say that even though you'll be offline for a little bit.
Look, I'll just say this really quick. You'll find me when I come back on House of the Conqueror. Go check it out. Hit that fucking red button. I mean, sorry for yelling. Thank y'all so much. Love y'all all in the chat. Go check out Southside's Patreon if you haven't. And just check out these. Look, just check out all these other people's channels, okay? They're awesome. All right? I'm not just being an asshole. And I'm not going to be here, so y'all need to watch. Go watch them. Go. Do it. Thank you.
Like, go and watch Erin and Kaci, but I'll let them talk about their own respective channels and what they've got going on. So whoever wants to talk about what you got going on, if you want to be found on the internet, all of that fun stuff, as Johnny would say sometimes. So,
Braavosi broadcast, and I don't know what I'm doing on there right now. I haven't come up with any New Year's plans, so maybe I should do that. But I don't know. I've got some good stuff on there, some good Megor videos and things like that. But yeah, so check it out and check out some of my videos, and I'll see you guys next week on here. Yay.
yes, Erin, we will see you back next week. Kaci, shout out your channel. Tell everybody about it because it's really, really good. The videos you got there.
Oh, thanks. My channel is House Lorebridge. I'm in the same boat as Erin, where I haven't really made too many plans right this second. I've been slacking a bit. I've been reading a lot, so I probably should try and get out a video at some point. We'll see if that happens. But
it's okay. You're just prepping. You're preparing for the video by reading. That's all I'm.
I've been reading way too many things all at once, and I haven't been able to focus.
Hey, we can get a brainstorming session, group brainstorming session going one of these days if you want. I'll give you all my good ideas because I don't make content. No, I will help you out.
Oh yes, you do.
If you got any questions, I'll help you out.
Yeah, Johnny makes
content in no time.
Yeah, Johnny makes literally no content. He's like,
I guess a big plan.
He's like suffering from content withdrawals in terms of what to make. So yeah, he like literally makes no content a week. He didn't even like do anything. So, but I'm only kidding. Johnny makes
put out 2 Fire and Blood podcasts today on Patreon though. So
yes.
So yeah, you did do.
That.
Don't throw things. Just calm down.
Yeah, don't miss it. But yeah,
I think any sounds of throwing things might have come from my end.
I dropped my anal beads. I wasn't even holding them.
Just squeeze them right out.
I just relaxed all of a sudden. That was my bad.
Oh Lord.
Oh, Jesus, Murphy. But yeah, like we've got so much stuff coming out on the channels and stuff. Yeah, we'll be here every week until it's over talking about Harlots until we pick another show that's coming up. Who knows? By the time we finish, Westworld may show up and we might just end up start talking about Westworld. Who knows?
We're like right about at the halfway mark of the show right now, aren't we?
Yeah,
Because there's 3
pretty
seasons of
close.
Harlots, and we're like halfway through right now. So maybe
We're
start
getting pretty
thinking about what our next show's gonna be.
Yeah,
guys.
I think so.
We got to pick a new one. So that'll be
I
within
vote
like
for
the
Young and the Restless.
start from like when the 60s or whatever that show started.
No, I think well, we can start there. We only got 400,000 episodes to cover. Should be enough till the end of our fucking days.
Are you gonna do The Witcher or anything like that, Mackenzie?
I'm not sure about
Dude,
that one.
shut up. Shut up. Nobody ever say The Witcher again. It's the worst fucking show on television. And like I said this in the chat earlier, look, everybody seems to have some kind of post-traumatic reaction and thinking The Witcher's fucking fantastic. I don't know what they've been smoking, but the storyline is super choppy. There's only one character you even feel any empathy for. The child in the story you could give two shits about for how they shot it. It's a fucking nostalgia fest. Like, ooh, look at that monster. That's a dragon. He's got a sword. He's chopping stuff up. Look at that cool fight scene. That's fucking it. You don't even know where you are. Oh my god. Anyway.
It's true. I really don't know where I am. I'm so confused. I'm so confused on the timeline and like the time jumps and all of that. I'm like, they could have made it a little bit easier to like process. But it's not terrible. And their bard is definitely top notch. Old Jaskier, whatever the fuck his name is.
But the wig is just
his name's supposed to be fucking Dandelion. What's so hard about that? His name's Dandelion in the books. Just fucking call him Dandelion. He is a dandelion. He acts like Dandelion. He looks like a goddamn dandelion. Just fucking do it.
They thought Dandelion would have been the confusing part for the audience.
Yeah. I can't remember that fucking name.
They questioned our level of intelligence.
Too many syllables.
But yeah, the wig too. I explained it to someone. I was like, the wig from Henry Cavill looks like a dry paintbrush on his head because like everybody's like complaining about the wigs that the Targaryens had in Game of Thrones, but it's like rather would have taken Viserys's wig or Rhaegar's wig over that one. Like, come on.
And Rhaegar's wig was just a mop head.
The wig that was promised. Who will wear the wig that was promised?
I'd say it goes to Gandalf's muff when he becomes a woman and the new Lord of the Rings if they go doing that.
Oh my god.
Gandalf
did have a pretty sweet wig though, let's be honest. Gandalf is the prince that was promised.
You think Gandalf has back hair? I've always wondered that.
I don't think so.
And what does it matter? I don't know. I just wondered if he has back hair.
Wait, why back? Like, what about the chest?
Well, you know he's got chest hair. Good God, anybody with a beard that long's got a furry ass nip fest going on up front. You know what I mean?
A furry ass nip fest. All right.
That's right. You can't even tell where his pubes start. His pubic hair starts at his throat. That's how hairy he is. God. His bush starts at his throat.
Oh my god.
The new theories out there. Oh yeah, Dark Mother says that she hates how you hold back about The Witcher, Johnny.
I know, right? I tried just not to. I've been trying to hold back.
Holding back, yeah, these true feelings, like when it comes to Harriet or no, it's all good.
It's also true, Sasuke. I have not been the prophet or the whatever Justin Thomas called me last season with Vikings, but it so happens that Vikings is on right now, so it's kind of hard.
I'm glad I'm having a surgery so I can stop watching Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian McKellen is my gay husband. Stop it. I love it. I'm sorry. He's my gay grandfather, so I'm sorry to offend you. I love Ian.
Okay, it says
I love Gandalf.
Creepy, Erin.
I literally have a tattoo on my body in Elvish runes that says Mithrandir, so I think I like Gandalf a little bit.
Hey, you say bye right now.
Yeah, we're gonna heading off too, Casey. So
say bye and run away, Casey. Let her say bye.
Oh,
did Casey leave?
She might have popped out. I'm not sure though.
Oh,
Or she
You're
will.
awesome.
All right.
Husband, I am Sasuke. Just hope Bjorn dies. Well, based off of the actions.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Kaci.
Oh no, sorry, you guys just glitched. It just felt awkward hanging up.
Oh.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, take care,
Aw.
Kaci.
Bye, Casey.
Happy 2020. Hope
Happy
to see you on the
time.
pity cruise.
But yeah, based off of the actions of episode, what was it, 4? The one before Christmas. I hope he does because of what happened in that freaking episode. But won't spoil if you haven't seen it yet. But you've had like 2 weeks to catch up. Anyway, but yeah, I think
Well, Bjorn's penis still works. We know that much. That's all that's confirmed.
yeah, because he got Gunhild's fucking pregnant. Like, but how
Hey,
old is
do
he
you
supposed to be
breathe?
now?
And
Like 40 something?
do you have a vagina and do you breathe? Watch out, Bjorn's coming. Literally. It's gonna get you pregnant, yo.
Okay.
the girl.
Hey, that's really how he is now. He's the Genghis Khan of Vikings.
Yeah, like the girl that is the handmaid into Gunhild. He banged her. It took maybe one episode where he was like, "Oh, I'm never gonna do that. I'm faithful to my wife." Cut to less than 5 minutes later, like she walks up on the beach naked, and he's like, "All right." It's like, come on. It's like, Jesus. But
Erin, I know that I've made you extremely uncomfortable right now, and that you're thinking about making this big Twitter announcement about how awful I am. And please don't do it, okay? Please don't do it. I humbly beg your forgiveness on air, and I just can't say enough how much I respect you. But she's not even here anymore.
she ran away.
I have offended her. I will be getting a court summons in the mail soon, I believe, and I'm worried about it.
Oh, she's back, I think.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Did I freeze for a while? Oh,
You
sorry.
might have,
Maybe.
because you missed Johnny telling the world that you're writing an angry tweet about him.
Oh, I'm not even on Twitter. Don't listen to this fool. Everything he says is bullshit.
Damn, everything? Aw.
That's even worse. Oh no.
Oh,
I'm just
look, you made
kidding.
Mr. Armitage sad. I gotta jerk off
He does
sad
look
now.
sad.
Look at him. Well, me and Sasuke figured
That's
out
how
who's
you prefer it
getting a
anyways.
handy J in this picture. He likes sad hand jobs. That's just Mr. Armitage.
Mr. Armitage.
Looks like he's getting his butt licked or something.
Oh, poor Mr. Armitage.
So I am very sorry. Okay, I do apologize. Now, but let's get back on track. Ending the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I gotta get going anyway.
but yeah, I'll talk about Vikings coming soon, I guess. Maybe not on a Wednesday, but it's coming soon. I'll fit it into my schedule. I'll figure something out. But Sasuke, if you want to talk about Vikings with me, we'll do it. Anyway, we have to shout out to the patrons of the channel. We got Bobbi Catalano, Catherine Harding, Katrin C, Nancy T, Dark Mother, and the podcast.com. Family of podcasts. Go check out Patreon. I just updated to a $10 tier, which is called The Beautiful Bunch, I think is what I named it. I updated all the stuff on Patreon to update the tiers. I tried some stuff out on Patreon, like at a certain tier. You get the show notes, so like what basically is consistent in this episode goes on there. So exclusive content for that. A lot of lifestyle things are going to go on there, as well as the new channels coming. Still have to figure that stuff out. It's in behind the scenes, but we're going to work on that. And yeah, we'll leave you to it. We'll let you watch the last 20 minutes of Vikings, and we'll see you guys next week to talk episodes 5 and 6 without poor Mr. Armitage. and the rest of Johnny's personas that he's had over the last couple of weeks. But we'll be
Aw, we'll miss Mr. Armitage next week or the next couple weeks.
or Mrs. Quigley, Mrs. Scanwell when he was Theon for a couple of episodes.
Look, I'll be back next year. Get over it, okay, guys?
He'll be
let's do
back
this.
when it's time for Theon, okay? So
Yeah.
we'll see you in like 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
That's your schedule.
Yeah, 1 season, 30 stars. Anyway, we'll see you guys. Thank you so much for all joining us in the chat. Be sure to like the video and share it out with people. If they haven't watched Harlots, go tell them to watch this show and come say hi to us, because probably next week will be a ladies' night edition of Harlots. So be sure to check back.
Oh, get your wine, bitches.
What?
Or get your gin and your tiny gin glasses, actually.
Yes. We'll see you guys next week. Bye,
I
everyone.
made the gin in my toilet.
Bye. With your gin toilet.